welcome to another edition of Inside Medicine. I am your host, Doug Geinzer, and we're here in the studio today with Vance Farrow from the Governor's Office of Economic Development and Dr. John Grossmith from the Bonati Spine Institute. For those of you that are new to Inside Medicine, we broadcast live every Friday at 10 o'clock Pacific time, and you're able to chat live with us here in the studio by visiting vegasvideonetwork.com/live. And Inside Medicine is a weekly program that brings in the movers and shakers of medicine, those in the know, those that are doing innovative things around the world of medical education, medical innovation, medical developments, and just great things that are happening right here in Las Vegas. So welcome to the studio, Vance and Dr. Grossmith.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
hey, good morning. Happy to be here.
Good morning. Happy Friday to everybody.
Indeed.
So Vance, let's get started with, tell us a little bit about the Governor's Office of Economic Development. Some of our viewers, our viewership, there are a lot of folks in the healthcare space, physicians, economic developers, healthcare administrators. Tell us a little bit about the Governor's Office of Economic Development.
Sure. So our office was created in the 2011 legislature, right in response to the economic downturn. AB 449 was the bill that both created and funded GoEd, as we call it. And in its creation, several sectors were identified that would assist in diversifying our state's economy. Health and medical services being one of them, aerospace and defense, IT, natural resources, et cetera, et cetera. And for each of those sectors, there is an industry specialist. And I am the industry specialist for health and medical services, and our executive director, Steve Hill, champions the entire effort of GoEd.
Okay. And so a lot of this spawned from what we all know as the Brookings Institute SRI report.
Right.
Is that what I initially identified, those core areas that we should be diversifying our economy into?
That's correct. So it was a complete study that was done that looked at how can Nevada diversify its economy, what are the strengths that the state can build on such that we are less dependent on any one particular industry. And so those were identified, and they have grown and multiplied in a lot of avenues and areas. And so we're very, very, very proud of where we are today.
Sure. And so you're the healthcare specialist. What does your job entail, and how did healthcare hit the radar screen? What made healthcare important to the Governor's Office of Economic Development?
Well, healthcare is important because when you look at the job trend of healthcare as a sector, there's no bubble. Even through the economic downturn, there was a steady growth in jobs and good paying jobs. And so health and medical services sector was certainly identified as an opportunity for growth. And we also have health professional shortages within that sector. And so to specifically target this sector and grow it, we knew that we had room for expansion. We knew we had room for growth, not just from the aspect of job creation, but also from the aspect of workforce development, the pipelines that needed to be not just created, but some of them needed to be expanded. So that's one component of my job, working with Dieter and a lot of the folks that do job training, but then also the Nevada system of higher ed and all of the institutions that train and educate our folks for job preparedness, but then also to assist local businesses in their expansion and also help other businesses outside of Nevada that are looking to relocate and create a presence in the Southwest.
So physician recruitment, it's obviously a little bit important, and we're here to talk today about expedited licensure, physician recruitment to the state. Why is that so important out of the Governor's Office of Economic Development?
When you think about the recruitment of physicians, there's a few key things that really hit when it comes to economic development. One of those is what's called a location quotient. And when you talk about a location quotient, you're talking about how Nevada compares per capita to the rest of the United States. And we are deficient in physicians, and so the more physicians we're able to recruit, the better we're able to substantiate that location quotient, if you will. But secondary to that, when you bring in a physician, there's an immediate economic development impact. at a baseline of about $1 million and up. And what that means is when that individual relocates to Nevada, gets licensed, and begins practicing, they have that economic development impact because they're going to buy a home, they're going to spend money on goods and services, they're going to hire individuals, they're going to go to restaurants, they're going to spend money, they're going to support other businesses that are located in Nevada, and then that also brings into the point the jobs multiplier. So every physician has a jobs multiplier where they know that they're going to hire so many folks that will work in their office. And then, again, you're talking about a ripple effect of economic development at that point.
That makes a lot of sense. And I know you did a lot of work in the last session on what we called the expedited licensure bill. And we're going to come back to that in a few minutes. Okay. But in the meantime, we're going to turn to Dr. Grossmith. Dr. Grossmith, you're the newest neurosurgeon to the state of Nevada and specifically to Las Vegas. So welcome to the area.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, and it seems like a really great destination to be living in.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your background. You've got such an esteemed background. We're so proud to have you here in Las Vegas. Tell us a little bit about your medical training and how you got to where you are.
Okay, so I think most of my life was spent with the military, and so I started in different positions and evolved to medicine. And basically that career or span of time was from 1969 to 2006. And the service for which I entered the medical corps was the Navy, and I was given the opportunity to train in neurosurgery full-time out service in Detroit at Henry Ford Hospital. And after that, I was assigned to Naval Medical Center, San Diego. And when I arrived, I was able to progress from being a staff neurosurgeon to become the chairman of the Department of Neurosciences, in which we also had a head injury program, collaborated with the VA. And we also became a DOD Center of Excellence, in which we grew our staff, and we were able to bring in physiatry, neuropsychology, the sleep lab. And so it was a desired destination for many military people. And as you know, during that time, that center took care of several, over 1 million patients, 1.4 million, and about 12,000 surgeries a year, with 30% of the staff deployed to the Middle East.
Wow. So as the former chairman of neurosciences at the Naval Medical Center in San Diego, what did that entail?
It entailed a lot of work in which you had to collaborate and be able to justify funding during some very stringent economic times as far as funding from the government. So we had to become efficient, and we had to be very directed in our care and basically have the ability to manage our funds such that we could provide maximum care to the maximum number of patients, because not only did we care for the active duty, we also had the retirees who were able to have services at the Naval Medical Center.
Sure. And at the same time, you were the principal investigator for the Defense Veteran Brain Injury Center. Tell us a little bit about that and what did that all involve?
I think the main issue at the time was the head injuries associated with what was going on at the time. So even though a lot of the soldiers, sailors that were injured appeared physically to be not as damaged, their behavior may have changed, and so the results of some of these IEDs or concussive events did in fact show changes in neuropsychological testing. And so some of these that were serving in, for instance, in the Marine Corps, who would be stellar performers, would return with some behavior changes that made their performance look less than sterling. And it wasn't their fault. It was actually, you could see evidence that, yes, there were some changes, and those that were involved in some of those blasts, which were pretty potent, would create some of those problems that you don't necessarily see on imaging studies.
So with the neurosciences department being based in San Diego but treating patients all around the world, I imagine you have quite a bit of experience in telemedicine as well.
Yes, I was able to communicate to different locations, and the Navy was doing a good job allowing broadband width, so we could actually have some instrumentation on the other end and able to support other providers who were removed from any form of neurosurgical intervention. So in that sense, I think the government was doing a good job in telemedicine early on.
I think that's another area that you could help us out with here in Nevada. I know Vance has been very involved in telemedicine, and it's an area that we want to pursue in a very big way, and I think your expertise could assist us a little bit. So you're the newest neurosurgeon in Las Vegas, and you recently went through the state licensure process. Talk to us a little bit about that experience and how that worked out.
Well, I would have to say that I thought I was well supported by Georgianne Crowley, who was assisting me with credentialing, and Miss Brandy Harrison, the licensure department. I thought they were very professional and kept me on track as far as what the needs were, so I was kept informed. I'd say it was a very thorough look into my background training, so they did want good detailed explanations of different parts of the application. But once everything was assembled, and oftentimes it was delayed because of other states sending in information, I think once they received all the information, I thought it went pretty rapidly, like within days, a couple of days.
Yeah, I heard that they were waiting on one piece of documentation. I want to say it was from Nebraska, a locums license, and they got that on a Monday, and by Thursday you were licensed. So that was less than 72 hours. That's huge for Nevada.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I think it was a very good screening as far as, ensuring that you are who you are, you trained where you trained, and so to me it struck me as that the state's interested in attracting high quality physicians.
Yeah, that's our focus here. We've got a big demand for physicians in the marketplace. We want to attract the best of the best. Obviously, you fit that fold, and it's good to hear that our Board of Medical Examiners is thorough. We want them to be as thorough as they possibly can to make sure that we only attract the best out here. And it's great to hear the good work that they're doing. We had some horror stories in the past, and I think the past is the past. We need to talk about the future. And I think that they've got a new executive team up there. They're doing amazing work. And to hear that they were able to get you fully licensed in 72 hours, we can't ask for better than that. It's been a great thing. So, Vance, let's jump over to the expedited licensure bill. I think that bill was passed because of some of these hang-ups before in the past. And obviously you see the benefit of licensing people a little bit quicker. And this year you carried forward a couple bills, and they were bills that I think there was one that was carried forward back in 2013 that didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
And then this year you had two of them get passed. So tell us a little bit about those two bills.
So AB 89 and SB 68 both deal with expedited licensure. One is particularly focused on veterans and their spouses, and the other is for a variety of health professionals that are simply looking to relocate to Nevada. And the idea would be that each of the boards would be able to license within a period of 60 days. We asked questions at the beginning to find out if that was a fair and equitable time. Mm-hmm. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that all of the boards that we worked with were extremely cooperative, and we were very pleased at our responses. But in putting the legislation together, we wanted to make sure that we didn't attempt to take any power away from the boards. That wasn't the intent.
Sure.
The only intent was to sort of streamline the process and ask questions that could get us to a point where if we perform X, Y, and Z and make sure that everything is within the package, that would be able to be done in an expedited time. And per Dr. Grossmith's experience, that time was less than 72 hours, which, is pretty awesome when you look at how things can work at their best.
Yep.
And I think that, that was just amazing. And I believe that both in the Assembly and the Senate, we had unanimous approval. And so that just goes to show that everybody wanted to see this done, and that it's the way that we're going to proceed moving forward. We actually had to turn away a handful of boards because LCB couldn't get the language incorporated in time. And what happened in the previous session, we got timed out. And as session was coming to an end in 15, I was kind of nervous that, we would time out again. And so
Sure.
we literally had to say, all right, we're going to have to work with what we have, and we can always take on more boards that want to be a part of the legislation down the road, but let's get something done, and let's get
So this is not just physician licensure, it's medical licensure. So who were some of those other boards that joined on to that bill?
Sure. So we have the allopathic physicians for sure, the osteopathic physicians, podiatry,
Yep.
nursing board is involved. We've got a litany of boards that deal with counseling and therapy. So our psychology, speech and audio, marriage counseling, drug and alcohol counseling. I mean, there's a long
Very
line of
important
folks
right
that
now.
are all, because behavioral health professionals, we need those in leaps and bounds as well. And so we were looking at it from the standpoint of where are our state's needs? And how do we incorporate those boards such that we're able to expedite those that are looking to come here because we have the greatest need?
That's amazing. It's wonderful to see our state come together. We thank you for all of the work that you put in, because I know we've been trying to get this passed for many, many years, and we got it done this year, and it's a huge accomplishment. So, Dr. Grossmith, let's go back and let's talk about Bonati Spine Institute. Amazing facility based out of Hudson, Florida. You've done 50,000 cases down there. That's a lot of cases. Why Las Vegas? What attracted the Bonati Spine Institute to expand to Las Vegas?
The main issue is geography for the patients, since they travel from every state as well as from other foreign countries. So in order to accommodate travel where it was shortened, we thought this was a great destination because it was set up for hospitality, and it was a easy in and out kind of city for patients to travel. So medical tourism, I believe, is the term that's used here. And in addition, it appeared that the thinking out here was business friendly. So it appeared that we would have support if we decided to come to Las Vegas. And many of the patients that would travel to see me, say from Alaska or Canada, like the western provinces of British Columbia, Alberta, or Hawaii, California, instead of Hudson, Florida, north of Tampa, being able to come to Las Vegas is a much nicer, shorter flight.
Sure. So how long have you been working at the Bonati Spine Institute?
8 years. And basically, during that period of time, for myself, I've performed about 3,500 cases.
Wow. So we had Dr. Bonati on the program a couple weeks ago, and he called you his number one guy. He said, I'm going to send my number one guy out to Las Vegas because I want the best out there, and we want to make sure that this expansion is the biggest success. What motivated you personally to relocate out here from Florida?
Well, I think that, number one, access for the patients was a big factor. And also, as far as in the terminology win-win, I think for myself, many of our family members live in California, so proximity. So instead of flying out on a Friday night to California, come back Sunday night to go to the OR on Monday, now it's much more close.
It's a big and beautiful family from the photo that we have up there on the screen.
Okay, so that was one of the gatherings
congratulations.
Around the Christmas time. But yes, and then there are more grandchildren now as well. So basically, it's proximity on the personal side, but also it's a great solution for the patients that want to have access to the Bonati Spine Institute, the procedure.
So you've been in town a couple months. I think you secured a house out here at the Lakes area. So what do you think of Las Vegas and Nevada so far?
Well, I think it has everything you'd want. So it's attracted all the variety of things that you would think of as far as, food, restaurants, housing, and basically it's an alive, dynamic environment. And I think the attitude here is for growth, and it appears to be business friendly. So I think it's going to be a great success to be able to open up our facility and start treating the patients.
We're excited to have you here. Obviously, a facility that's attracted 50,000 patients there from all around the country and, frankly, all around the world. That's a coup, and that fits right in with our medical tourism efforts. We've been working very closely with the governor's office, the LVCVA, UNLV, the LVGEA, a bunch of acronyms to develop a strategic plan for medical tourism. And we're 2 years into it, getting ready to release our 2-year accomplishments report. But Vance, tell us a little bit about medical tourism and how it fits into the governor's office of economic development.
Sure. So medical tourism is one of the components of the health and medical sector, as you've said, that offers us opportunity for growth. With the number of visitors that we have on an annual basis, folks come in town for a variety of reasons, whether it's shows or to gamble or just to vacation or have fun. But then also looking at from healthcare perspective, the number of spas that we have, the number of providers that we have, specialties, those can be maximized if folks take the opportunity to brand them in a way that makes it palatable to the patient. Mm-hmm. And I think that, to your point, if you're traveling all the way to Florida for a procedure and Las Vegas makes it, easier on you for whatever reason, then why not shorten that trip and come here? Your family can be occupied and doing great things and having fun, and you can, get your procedure done and go back home feeling good.
Seems like a natural.
It does seem like a natural.
Now, so you're trying to attract more companies here. You and I the other day talked about I think it was a med bio or some type of conference that was coming in, right. And you're going to travel and you're going to sell them on Nevada. And actually, I think we just brought up an image of a brochure that we hand out there. So tell us a little bit about your efforts to recruit companies from out of state to relocate here.
Sure. So we'll be attending the Bio International Conference in June. It's the world's largest biotechnology conference, and we will be leading a delegation of Nevada companies as well as our universities to Bio. The state of Nevada has a very large booth in the exhibit space, and we're going to set up one-on-one partnering meetings. So those will be for UNR, UNLV, DRI, as well as the business delegation that will be accompanying us on the trip. The whole idea would be that we want to showcase Nevada's assets, and we want to create as many public-private partnerships, MOUs, investors, business opportunities as we can as we present those assets to the world of biotechnology. We have supercomputing power, we have analysis, we have workforce development programs, we have PhD programs, all within that sphere. And so we want to showcase that and see what we can put together, and then recruit more of that investment into Nevada.
So I'm going to put together a little plug right now for Las Vegas Heals and a group that we have coming up. On October 18th, we're going to be hosting Healthcare Trends, which brings together the investment community, the development community, as well as the healthcare community to look at where those opportunities are, where those gaps are, and what we could do to fuel more growth here in town. Obviously, we want to attract more groups like the Bonati Spine Institute. We're very proud of them coming into town. I want to get back to what makes Bonati Spine Institute unique. There's something that you do that attracts 50,000 patients. That's a high volume. What is that uniqueness, Dr. Grossmith?
Well, in one word, hope would be one answer, because many of the patients that arrive are not the person that just herniated a disc. Many of them have been to multiple centers. I won't name names of centers, but let's just say they've had several procedures, if not a fusion, pain pump, pain stimulators, and as a result of those procedures still have the problem, still have a back pain problem or pain extending into the arm or the leg or wrapping around the chest. So the focus for the Bonati Spine Institute is cervical, thoracic, lumbar spine, non-fusion intervention, in which it's targeted as far as precisely targeted to where the problem is localized, and using Dr. Bonati's patented instrumentation, go to that location and perform the decompression while the patient is under IV conscious sedation, so that the patient can, in fact, respond however, is kept comfortable so it's not an agonal pain procedure. And those that are nervous or anxious, the medications are controlled to maintain the patient in a calm state. But the beauty is, after that decompression is completed, I oftentimes will say, okay, what do you do to create your problem? And they'll have some kind of thing, a twist, a turn, arching, getting on my knees. So in the OR, we'll allow that motion, and the answer is it's gone.
Wow. So we've got an image up here on the screen. So looking at there, you've got a device in your hand. For the users or the viewers that are not attuned to surgical procedures, what are you doing here?
Okay, so since it is a very small opening, about the size of a dime, all the communication down to the surgery site is through a tube that's hidden by our hands. So it's a dime-sized tube that's hidden. So you're performing major surgery through that, so like the cylinder in a car engine. However, the size of that cylinder is shrunk down to the size of a dime. So as a result of that, the disruption to the pathway down to the area of the spine affected is minimal because you're dilating the tissue. You're not tearing, you're not burning, and you're landing on the area where the problem is. Through that, we pass that scope, which in the right hand is the black camera sticking up with a cable, and that projects onto a screen, heads-up display.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, in the left hand is an instrument that bites bone. So it's not just a laser procedure. So we're not just using the energy of a laser. The laser, for example, would burn at, say, 3,000 degrees and maybe a 1/4 millimeter radius. Maybe it'll get up to 3,000 degrees thereabouts. If you were to use that to try to just get down to the spine, we'd probably both be retired and dead. So it's a precise instrument in just one of them, and that comes in handy when, for instance, you have some disc or material scar around the spinal cord. So to have that precise control of energy to remove that area of compression is where the laser would be helpful. But many other conditions are compression because of, and fill in the blank on that, and because of tissue, because of thickened ligament, calcified ligament, because of growth of bone encroaching on the spinal canal, spinal cord, or exit for the nerve root. So basically, some of the responses from the patients would be something like, yeah, they said the fusion looked good and da-da-da-da, but I still have this pain. And so the challenge becomes, okay, we have to remove the instrumentation, so metal screw parts of the rod, then get into the bone fusion mass, then travel down to where the anatomy is being affected. So that's why it's very, very potent as far as you get better from that, and you've been having this problem for years, you tend to tell other people, and as a result of that, more people come.
Sounds great. So anyway, Doctor, I want to thank you for being on the show today. The show's coming to a close here in a few minutes. And Vance, I want to thank you for being on the show today. And for those users or viewers that are out there, we broadcast live here every single Friday at 10 o'clock Pacific time. You're able to communicate with us via chat. Next week, we've got another unique episode of Inside Medicine. We're going to do a recap of our healthcare happy hour that we're hosting on May 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo. It's going to be held at the Spanish Hills Wellness Center. This is a brand new skilled nursing facility that's built here in Las Vegas, right in line with our medical tourism efforts. It's not Grandma's Nursing Home. This is a place that looks like a resort that you would find on the Las Vegas Strip, allows patients to recover in luxury. And we're going to have some of the leadership from the Spanish Hills Wellness Center right here on the show next Friday, talking about the evening before. Those that weren't able to attend will be able to take a virtual tour of the center and learn a little bit more about that. In the meantime, thank you all for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday. And again, you could find us live on VegasVideoNetwork.com/live, or if you missed the show, you could always go to LasVegasHeals.org and watch the show there. Thank you, and have a great week.